This is the Hardest Question video blog. I'm the Reverend Russell,
Tony Jones here.
and we are in John again for this week. And if one wanted to sit down at say ordinary week 17 and look ahead, we're in the sixth chapter of John for about 5-6 weeks, and so if you could have a nice kind of through line.
Well, it does make you wonder, I guess, why there isn't a fourth lectionary year, and why they don't have a Johannine year.
Right.
Because this is some rich stuff, which I'm sure the
Absolutely.
lectionary people were like, look, we got to get John 6 in there at some point, and I'm sure that the same thing happens with John 14.
Right.
I'm sure they jam that in some other year too.
John 1, they
And
just
yeah,
put that in every year.
Do it during the Mark year because Mark's kind of short, so we can skip some stuff
Yeah.
in there. But it seems like John should get John's own year.
I think so.
And it also is a little weird because it's so, you go from Mark, which is such a raw kind of primitive account of Jesus' life, to this very theological, cosmic sermon, chapter long sermon from Jesus. It's super esoteric, and it's hard. I mean, I do wonder how many people even, in August stick with a lectionary or be like, that's the month I'm going to do a series on how to be a better Christian dad or something,
Oh, by the way, never do a series on how to be a better Christian dad. You should stick with the lectionary if those are your options.
Especially when it's John 6. There's plenty to preach from here, right?
No, that's the thing with John 6. There's so much here, and this is the week where it really kind of gets really good here, because he's really pushing this thing about him being the bread of life.
Yeah, so the Jews really, they become kind of a literary device for John to move the sermon along, right?
Because they ask, how can he give up?
Last week it was, is this not the son of Joseph? A carpenter from Nazareth? And now he does this kind of, let me explain this to you. And now they're like, how can he say we must eat his flesh?
Right.
You can't eat someone's flesh, that's cannibalism. And he says, unless you eat the flesh of the blood of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in me.
Yeah.
Which is again, I think we probably immediately jump toward communion.
Right.
And, if you're in a sacramental tradition like Catholicism, you would say actually your salvation is tied to partaking of that sacrament. But those of us who are Protestants nobody holds to salvation being contingent upon reception of the host.
No, right. So what does that mean beyond? That's good. What does that mean beyond jumping to communion? Because somehow there's something about ingesting the Messiah that I think is rich and beautiful and
buttery,
tasty, I guess. I don't mean literally, but how does one?
But does he?
Well, this is what is so fun and interesting about this.
Like cannibalistic Christianity.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. I mean, out of context, I can't even get back into this context. All I know is I stand up every week and say that this is the body and the blood of Christ.
Maybe that's how we've made sense of it.
Yeah.
This very difficult passage is through communion. So we can make sense of it. But how did his initial hearers, his original hearers, when they heard this, are they just like, what is he talking about?
What is he talking about?
Is he promoting cannibalism?
Because they're saying,
purely
how can we eat your flesh? And then he responds by saying, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood.
Yeah, then he ups the ante, right?
Yeah,
He cranks it up a notch.
Right.
You have no part in me.
Saute my liver with the fava bean. So let us know how your series on the
flesh eating
life is going.
Zombie Jesus.
Yeah.